My name that was given to me is Laura. We're going to be discussing today the power of a name. My husband is here. He is our videographer, but he will be helping to go over this entire topic with us so that you understand the power of names. Go ahead, honey, you can begin.
It gave me the sexy look, so I was enjoying that. Yeah. Anyway, right, the power of name. You know, in the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. One of the 10 Commandments is what? Or is it one of the 10 Commandments? No, it's not a 10 Commandment.
Isn't it? It should be. I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt not take my name in vain.
That is a commandment.
Yes.
Okay, so I was right about that. I hope the Pope is not watching. He came back from heaven from your last joke. Right. So what does that mean, really?
The commandment?
Right. What does that commandment mean? So I just learned this not too long ago. I was reading a book and then I learned this.
Ooh, tell me.
So this is interesting. No, you're supposed to answer.
Well, growing up, the examples I were given is you don't curse, so you don't say, oh my God, or, you know, the God with a bleep, bleep, bleep after it, or anything like that. Anything where you're you know, cursing God's name.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's how, and that was my understanding this whole time as well. And then I read this one book, I don't remember the name of the book. Mm-hmm. And the way the author put it is this. Well, everything has frequency. Mm-hmm. And it does. That we know. The St. Masters have taught us that. And they probably never explained this part to me because they figured I know this already. So Jesus said, I'm not going to waste my time on that. You should know that by now. Well, everything has a frequency. Which means then that every name also has a frequency. That's why we're given the names that we're given, which the St. Masters have told us as well many times. Mm-hmm. Never occurred to me though to see how it applies to the name of God. So what do we mean by that? When God gave that commandment, he was saying, remember that there's a frequency attached to my name. So every time you call my name, I will be there for you. Okay? So imagine that, for example, we have our kids, the younger ones, right? Mm-hmm. And imagine that they keep calling you all the time. Even here in the house, they keep calling you. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do? They're upstairs and they call, you're down here. And they go, Mom, they're not even calling you by name. I would say Mom, which you know that's you. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do?
Answer them.
And then they say Mom again, 10 minutes later.
I'm going to ask them to quit calling me after a while.
Why?
Because I don't want to hear it anymore. Just come downstairs and talk to me. Quit yelling for me.
But it's not even about not wanting to hear it anymore. Because the question becomes, are you just kind of wasting my time calling me? Because they just call you, but it's not really for a good purpose, right?
Right. There's not a fruitful reason for it.
Do you get the point behind the story?
I believe so.
What's the point?
That we shouldn't constantly use God's name unless we really are looking for his guidance and help.
In reverence, right? Mm-hmm. So if people are using it with those other words, you understand now? It's similar to what we thought it meant. But literally what we're saying is we keep invoking God's presence and for no reason. No good reason at all.
For sometimes very negative reasons.
Exactly. You get it now?
Mm-hmm. Like when people want to curse someone and they use the G and then the word D afterward and then it's like, whoa.
But they're invoking the presence of God. They don't realize that because they use his name. Every name has a frequency. Same thing goes for us. I know we've discussed this, I think, in a previous video, where before we're born, we choose a name. Mm-hmm. And that name is tied to a purpose in the lifetime that we're about to enter. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's how it goes.
But what if our parents don't give us the name that we choose?
A couple of things happen, from my understanding. One thing is that, for example, somewhere along the line, you will get that name. And that's the beauty of, for example, and I'll speak about this because this is what I know, the Catholic Church, because you get a confirmation name.
Right.
Well, that's another time when the angels, the ascended masters, your guides, they have that opportunity to try to send a message to you or your parents what your name should be. So many times the confirmation name that you have is actually the name that you are supposed to be given. And you'll find out that some people prefer their confirmation name.
So how do I know if my name is the correct name?
Well, that's a good question. From what I've read, there was actually a story about a lady like that, where she was just uncomfortable with her name. She just didn't like her name. She didn't like to be called by the name. When people call her by the name, she would actually get upset, and she could never understand why. She wouldn't react to the people, but inside it just bothered her. She just had this unsettling feeling every time she was addressed by the birth name she was given. And then she went and met with this medium, and this medium took her back into a past life, and then they realized that the name that she had was not the name she was supposed to be given. And so then the lady told her, it was a lady, a female medium, she told her, this is a name that you were supposed to have. And so she asked her, is it okay with you if I change your name in the Akashic records to this? And the lady said right away, oh yes, please do. Which surprised the lady, because this lady had this name all her life. And so then after the reading, the lady asked, well, why were you so quick to change your name? She said, because ever since I was little, I've been telling people to call me by that name, because that's the name that I was comfortable with. So your mighty and presence knows, you know, deep down inside you have a good feeling as to what your name should be. And you'll know the one that you get is not, the one that you got is not the one you should have, because you're uncomfortable with it. You just don't feel good when you're addressed by that name. So if you don't have those sensations, then that's the name you're supposed to have.
Okay.
You like your name.
I don't think I've heard anybody call me by my first name in a long time, so that's
Really?
why I was asking. Yes. It's always Mom or Honey or Mrs., you know? So.
Well, so Honey is your name. That's the best name for you. You're sweet, you're natural.
Okay. This is not about.
You're organic.
Okay. So that's why I was wondering, you know, for
Got
me
it.
specifically, is Laura supposed to really be my name? Because I know for confirmation I chose Veronica. And when beloved Veronica came through for me, she said, look up what our name means.
I remember the story, well, not the story, what happened with us. We weren't even close yet at that point. But we were in the
Yes.
office one time.
Yes.
And then I went, hey, Veronica, we're talking as a group. And you looked at me and you're like, why do you call me Veronica? Remember that?
Yes.
And I told her, well, it's not your name.
How did you know my name was Veronica? Who told you?
Right.
Of course, immediately I thought about my family. He must have talked to someone in my family. Only my family knows that that's my name, because it's not a name that's recorded anywhere except for in the Catholic Church. It's not publicly known.
But that's something my Mighty and Presence told me, see? She's the one.
So maybe Veronica is what I should be going by.
I don't know, I won't say that. I call you that name. I'm not going to say that. Mom might come and slap me. She's like, why do you have to go and change your name? So anyway, so that's the name, right? It's very important that we have the name we're supposed to have, the birth name that was given to us, if it's the right name. And there are many people that change their names. Okay? Now, for example, you got married, right?
Right.
So your last name got changed. That's all right, because that's recorded in the spiritual realm. You gave your okay for that. That's why you go through a marriage ceremony. And then that's recorded in the Akashic records. They say, okay, this is her last name, but now it's changed to this, but they're both there. And the energy is tied to both. Right? So that's fine. But then I have individuals that say, well, my name should be this. Maybe it is, but what is not supposed to be that. And I've also heard about people that join different spiritual groups, right? I'll call them spiritual. I'm not sure if they're spiritual groups, whatever they are, okay?
Okay.
But they join different religious groups. There you go, religious groups or spiritual groups, and then they're told that they should change their name. Well, hopefully, whomever is telling them that they should change their name knows best for them, that they can access the Akashic records and that they are. Because if they're not, then there's a disconnect the moment you change your name, because now the frequency of your real name is not with that name that you have. And all of a sudden, you'll notice that things don't work out for you.
Ooh.
right? Things are not going the way they're supposed to because you don't have the support of your name that has a special frequency with it that backs you what you need to do. So it's extremely important that you have the right name.
Wow. Made me think of the Catholic Church and how nuns and some of the brothers change their names when they take their holy orders.
Right. They do.
They get rid of their so-called earthly name and they take on this new name, usually that of a saint.
Of a saint. Because there's a frequency tied to the name of that saint.
Right.
I don't know how that works because they're pretty much, it's a marriage, right?
Right, it is.
It's a
You're
marriage.
getting married to Christ.
That's correct. So maybe it makes a difference that way. I don't know. I really don't know about that.
Ooh, I was hoping someone would come through with an answer for that
Well,
one.
I know my uncle was,
Brother Tom.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so did he change his name? Not really. Just put brother on there. Right?
That was his name? I thought it was.
That's a good point.
Herman.
That's right. It was Herman. So he did change
He
it.
changed his name.
Yeah. But since I was a kid, we called him Brother Tom. That's all I remember.
He was already a brother.
He was.
You didn't know him as Herman.
No, boy.
Good
But
question.
good question. Maybe he'll come through. He's come through to me many times.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he'll come through and explain that to us and how that works.
Right, but then as far as frequency with names, I mean, even the names of some of the dark individuals
That's right.
carry frequency.
Well, that's the key.
And you say their names and you're invoking their presence into your life as well.
And thanks for bringing that up because that's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why if you're watching movies with these names in there and you see these figures of these
Like The
different-
Exorcist names a lot
Things
of
like
them.
that, exactly,
Mhm.
right?
I've never seen the movie, only parts of it. Whew.
But you do that, the moment they invoke that name, they're present right there.
Right.
That's the power of a name.
Just like when you call upon an angel, like Archangel Michael, he's here
You
instantly.
need him, like he's right now, right here, right? Because you call his name.
Right.
But we don't, well, he's not here, but I'm just saying that's what would happen.
That's what would happen, right?
Okay.
We're just examples.
He knows that we're talking about because we're recording, so he won't just show up like that. But that's what they would do because they know that, okay, the moment our name is mentioned, we have to be there for them to support them. On the other hand, if you call the name of the members of the dark forces, they'll gladly show up. Even they're trying to show up even when you don't call their names.
Yes, they
Right?
do.
So the last thing I have to do is do them that favor. And that's why I don't call their names ever. I don't call the name of their head, even the D word. You know, I don't have time for that. I don't entertain them getting to my space. Stay away. You know, keep them away. So, right, it's very important that when you say a name, you understand the importance of it. And the same thing goes for when you address somebody. Know that you're addressing a certain frequency for that person, especially your own children. You know, their name is powerful. You gave them, well, they chose that name, but in your mind, you gave them a name because you're the one that said, you know, I said, name your child. And you're thinking that you're the one giving them the name, but they're the one that whispered in your ear a long time ago, you know, and said, this is the name you're supposed to give me. And you write it down, and that's it. But there's a reason why that name is there. So then you make sure that, for example, our son, though, all of our kids, I've given them nicknames. So how does that work? Does that mean that things are not working out for them?
Oh, good point.
That just came to me. That was just, right? So now you give them nicknames. That's not their real name. So how does that work? Interesting.
Yes, please explain. Because I know a lot of people go by their middle names or nicknames.
I'm waiting. So
Oh.
anyway, no, the way that works is a nickname, when it's given out of love, is tied to the original name because you're not trying to change the person's persona
Okay.
or anything about the individual. It's something that you're attaching to them.
It's a term of endearment.
Whenever you express something with a term of love,
Uh-huh.
love will overtake anything.
Okay.
Okay, and that's what I've been told now. I didn't know that.
Who's telling you?
Mother Mary.
Thank you, Mother.
Archangel Michael. Archangel Raphael. Wow.
Oh.
Okay, so anyway, what they're saying is that when you're using a term of endearment, all right, so it's a nickname, but it's one of love.
Okay.
It's fine because whenever you say that name, for example, our son, I call him Champ, right? Well, I say Champ, but the picture in my head is what?
Our son.
No,
No?
he's a champion.
Oh,
You see, he's someone that overcomes anything. That's love. That's why he's given that nickname. You know, Cece, we know why she was called Cece. Sweetie, you know, she's called Sweetie because of her demeanor. You know, she's just a nice, loving kid. And Cece, you know, curly hair, but love, outspoken, just runs all over the place and will wear you out, chasing her all over the place. So, but all of them have to do with the love that I express for each one of them, and that's tied to the original name.
okay.
And that's why so it's multiplied every time I say it.
Okay.
But now, if you were to have a nickname for somebody, and the nickname is out of disgust, you know,
Right.
trying to see, for example, you might call somebody Fatso,
Right.
right? And you might, and some people try to make it as a joke, but it's not. Then that pulls a person down actually, because you're putting
Yep.
negative energy on the individual.
Oh, yes.
All right, or if you call, or you might say, "Hey, dummy," you know. And I've heard people refer to people that
Yes, yes.
way. You know, that's not good.
They called me Satan when I was a kid in school.
You just said a word you shouldn't say.
I know, but I wanted to give the example because it was a really dark,
Yeah.
negative time in my life.
Right, but see,
Really bad.
that's not good, because now they're tying things to you that they shouldn't. Okay, so that's why if you're going to do that, it should be out of love, not out of fun. That's the key word, right?
Right.
Love.
It should be out of love.
Now, when you put it out there, it's because like Michael, our son Michael. Why do I call him Michael? He was named after Archangel Michael. So Michael is my twist on Archangel Michael's name. You know, what to me makes it classy.
Right.
Make sense? Or Big Guy. Why do I call him Big Guy? Because I've always seen him as a leader, someone that people look up to. And when he goes somewhere, he takes over the room, because he's the guy that can take something and take a lemon, turn it
Into lemonade.
into lemonade. And that's supposed to be a good thing, right?
Yes, that's a
Okay.
good thing.
So I've always seen him as someone that could do that, because since he was a kid, I saw him do things like that. You know, and just like the other two, same thing. Junioress, I always saw her as that's tomboy, you know, do stuff that I liked. She followed everything that I did when she was younger. She was always someone that pushed really hard. You know, no matter what she faced, I always knew that she could overcome it. And I always saw myself the same way, so I saw her like that. Like, okay, she can overcome anything. She's tough. You know? And then next I call her Agnieszka.
Right.
Or Rob. Now I call her Rob because she's tough as a nail. You know, boys, to me when I see boys that are Rob, they're always big. I don't know why. I've never seen a small Rob.
That's a good point. I don't recall any other.
Yeah, they're always like big and
looking.
like muscular guys, like, you know, they're very...
Football players.
Oh, there we go, right. Like, yeah, your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law
Exactly,
is a
there you
big
go.
football player.
You know, and I've always seen her like that. She's bullish, right? She she goes for stuff, and she might back down a little bit, but then she gets down bullying her, and then she's gone again. You know, and then when I call her Agnieszka, based on her middle name, is because I think about the Polish women, how they're very hard, you know, they're like
Very humble but hardcore.
very hardcore, and that's why I call her that. So see, now all of them know if they watch this video what they have their nicknames.
Hell no.
Then I call you honey because you're sweet, and I'm not allergic to organic things, and you're organic.
Okay. So now, what about the nuns and brothers? Did
I
you get
don't
an
know.
answer for that? Oh, I thought maybe Mother Mary would still be here.
Oh, it's the same thing. That because they're marrying the order, then yes, they're allowed to do that because
Because
they've
they're
taken a
dedicating their
name-
life to God.
Not only that, but they're taking a name of a frequency that's already proven to be attached to God. Is what it is.
Got
So
it.
they're helping them raise their frequency even faster.
Got it.
Is how that goes. But so again, you know, just pay attention to see how you feel about your name when you're called by that name, and then from there you can find out if it's a name. If you're not comfortable with it, maybe it wasn't the name you were supposed to be given in this lifetime, and it could explain why you're having certain challenges in your life, because you don't have the support of the frequency of your real name. Then how do you find out what the real name is?
I
We
get
could probably
excited
help you with
anytime
that.
I hear my name, even though Laura's are victims in a lot of movies.
I know, right? But anyway, and if if people, that would be an experiment because we've never done that before.
We
To find
haven't.
out what somebody's
We
real
haven't.
name is. That'll be cool.
Be a great experiment. Hey, if
Exactly.
you try it, let us know, please.
Exactly. And then contact us and see if we can help you find out what your real name is.
Right.
And see if it resonates with you. But we might give you a name like Rumpelstiltskin. You're like,
Rumpelstiltskin. No.
that's not my name. So, no, but who knows? They might say, "Oh, that feels good." I'll be stunned. Anyway,
I think we have done a really good job covering the power of a name.
Oh, and by the way, babies do communicate with their parents to let them know. They do their best to let their parents know what name they should get. You know,
Yes,
and just
indeed.
want people to know. We've had many examples of that with our kids.
Yes.
You know,
With our
and-
granddaughter.
Exactly. All right. So it happens everywhere. It's nothing new.
All right. If you found this information to be helpful, please remember to share this video, like it, subscribe, and that's all for now, folks.
You sound like that. Is that a Donald Duck or something?
That
A Walt
Bugs
Disney
Bunny
show?
says, that's
Oh,
all,
Bugs Bunny.
folks.
There we go.